And as the scripture says, all things that are hidden shall be revealed, and those things done in secret shall be exposed on the mountaintop.
Let's go, Rich.
You watching Telehouse Publishing, breaking news coverage. Give you the truth before fake news throw mud in it. Before the jury decide and the judge discover it, you should tune in to Telehouse Publishing. Telehouse Publishing, breaking news coverage. The propaganda grammar, don't believe none of it. Before the jury decide and the judge discover it, you should tune in to Telehouse Publishing. Telehouse Publishing, breaking news coverage. Give you the truth before fake news throw mud in it. Before the jury decide and the judge discover it, you should tune in to Telehouse Publishing.
Negroes have listened to the trickery and the lies and the false promises of the white man now for too long, and they're fed up. They become disenchanted, they become disillusioned, they become dissatisfied, and all of this has built up frustrations in the black community that makes the black community throughout America today more explosive than all of the atomic bombs the Russians can ever invent.
All right, peace and blessings, all praises to the Most High. So earlier this week, I released a story about 3 South African men who were on trial for shooting 2 black women as they scavenged and scoured for some expired dairy products on a pig farm. Now, these 3 men not only murdered the women and shot at their husband, but they also fed them to the pigs. And these are those 3 men. The one on the right is Zachariah somebody. He's the owner of the farm. The one in the middle is Adrian De Wat, who has recently been set free. I'm going to get into that. And also the third guy is an African national, somebody Masula, and he's been charged extra. But as I mentioned, the guy who fed the people to the pigs, this guy, Adrian De Wat, has recently been released. He said that he was under duress when he fed the bodies to the pigs, and they have now granted him immunity for his testimony. Now, just take a listen at these 2 articles as they explain the injustice that the family of these 2 women have to endure as they watched a person who fed their relative's body to pigs being set free.
The farm supervisor, Adrian De Wat, is now a state witness. When the trial resumes next week, he is expected to testify that he was forced by his boss to apprehend the 2 victims before they were shot, and that he was then made to throw their bodies into the pig enclosure in an apparent attempt to dispose of the evidence. If the court is satisfied with his testimony, charges against him will be dropped.
Well, we've always maintained that accused number 2 was innocent, and it's I think the state finally realized it, and upon consulting with him or with our permission and obtaining his statement, they've realized that in fact he is credible and what he's saying is in fact the truth, and they have therefore agreed to withdraw the charges against him in exchange for his testimony to what happened on that tragic day.
The killings of Maria Makhatu and Kudzai Ndlovu sparked outrage in South Africa and exacerbated racial tensions. And this has led many people to ask if this incident was the first of its kind to take place at the farm, or if there's a possibility that many others suffered the same fate and that their cases were never resolved.
All right. And so there you see that lawyer, whoever that lawyer is, said we have always maintained his innocence. But in the article, you hear that they said he apprehended them before they were shot, and then he fed their bodies to the pigs. Now, it doesn't matter if somebody told you to do it or not. You have the human free will to say no. That's just like if the OG called a shot and a young brother goes out there and pulls a hit. They're not going to say, okay, well, yeah, you are free to go because somebody made you do it. No, every human being has a responsibility for their actions. So this family is sobbing after the court, and I'm going to show you that. But also, as the news reporters stated, many people feel like this may not be an isolated incident. Now, mind you, if this guy has a pig farm, he's just shooting people and telling his workers to feed them to the pigs, this is not something you just wantonly do. This is a definite pattern of behavior probably that this man has done. Just take a look at these other news stories about how the family reacted to his release. And I'm also using these videos in fair use for commentary and literary purposes, educational purposes under the Fair Use Act.
This is Adrian De Wat, the South African farm worker who said he was forced to feed women to pigs. He's now had his charges against him withdrawn after becoming a state witness. The brother of Maria Makatu, who was allegedly killed by white farm owner Johannes Olivier, couldn't contain his anger as he watched in disbelief. De Wat was whisked away by his lawyers and has now been freed for the first time since his arrest last year. He'll now be taken into protective custody until the trial is finalized. Maria Makatu and Kudzai Ndlovu were shot and killed while looking for soon-to-expire dairy products at a pig farm in South Africa's northern province. Their partially eaten and decomposing bodies were found inside a pig enclosure after they were thrown inside in an apparent attempt to conceal evidence. The trial is due to start in October.
This family had to watch and see this man go free, all because of his testimony. Now, the reporter said that he's now going to be held in protective custody until the trial. So basically, they are protecting this double murderer in South Africa. And one thing that stuck out to me is the black judge. Just take a look at him. Now, this is the black judge that agreed to this release. And if you look at him, he has one of those 19 or 1789 little ruffle feather shirts on with the black robe, looking like the old white judges back in the days. The only thing he's missing is the white skin and the powdered wig. This is the puppeteer system that has been established in this minority ruled African nation. It is well documented that the Africans are 95% of South Africa and the white people are only like 10%, but they control 95% of the wealth, resources, and therefore they control the courts, and consequently they control the judges. So I'm looking at him like a Sambo to allow this to go on. Nevertheless, this is the global system of white supremacy, where a young man, 20 years old, white man, can feed two black women to pigs and then say, the devil made me do it. Basically, you know, he's saying that this man with his arms folded already showed him, Zachariah, he is the farm's owner. Now, the black man, the little black African, let me give you some information about him. He is William Masoro, a 50-year-old nationalist farm worker. He and the other man are still incarcerated, and they have yet to make a plea. And he is also being charged with some other charges as far as breaking the rules of, you know, being a foreign national. Now, as I mentioned before, this article says most private farmland remains in the hands of the white minority, while most farm workers are black and poorly paid, fueling resentment against the black population, while many white farmers complain of high crime rates. Of course, crime rates are going to be high because you own everything, but you also not paying us enough for living wages. That is why the black women were probably around there scavenging, because they have no resources. They have nothing to eat. And the white man, as he has done all across the world, has came into that country, pillaged, robbed, schemed, manipulated, devised schemes to control all of the wealth. So this is, once again, the same thing that is happening in America, is happening in South Africa, probably happening all over the world as we see this global system of white supremacy in play. But once again, we have hope that the wicked will sooner or later fall unto their own scheme. So y'all let me know what y'all think about this video in the comments. Y'all see the number 919-587-7782. As always, Peace and blessing. And as my man from Detroit said, don't count your blessings, make your blessing count. Peace and blessings.